Welcome, everyone, to the Less is More Sports podcast. It is a beautiful, and I mean beautiful, Labor Day weekend here in the Ohio Valley. I have already grilled out once this weekend, but that's not the only thing we're celebrating right now because college football, after week 0, is officially back in full force and full swing. And there may or may not be a very important game today at noon, by which I mean Syracuse and Tennessee, the real team that wears orange.
The real
Oh,
UT.
okay. I didn't have a problem with that till you said that.
The real UT.
The real UT.
Now, okay,
We're
now we got
already
to fight.
ganging
We
up
got
on
to
you, but
fight
you
now.
know where this is going.
You
But
mean the
of course, what
play-by-play
we're really
where
referring to here is
Carrier
Ohio
down?
State, Texas.
Everybody can catch these hands on this show today.
Oh, you have begun to feel pain yet, Les. But of course, as we say, as we always have been talking about, it feels like for weeks on end, the matchup we're referring to is the big noon kickoff, the college game day, the last show of Lee Corso, Texas visiting the Horseshoe to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, of course, I have no dog in this fight. That's why I'm wearing my Peoria Chiefs hat here. So, but Les and Ryan, you may, if you've been watching this podcast for, I don't know, one episode, you probably know that Les and Ryan represent both teams playing in today's contest very well. And it's Labor Day weekend, so we figured let's have some fun with it. So, what we're going to do here is Ryan and Les and our special guest, who will introduce himself, I'm sure, here in a moment, where Ryan will introduce him when we get done with the spiel, are going to have a little smack off competition. Each side gets about 3 minutes. They're going to rant, they're going to hit each other as hard as they can. Then the buzzer's going to go off. And I'm going to just grade the whole thing and see who wins based on creativity, sports knowledge, and any other criteria that makes Les look bad. In case you couldn't tell who's already going to win. So, Ryan, you want to introduce our special guest commentator, and then we'll let the smack off commence.
Yes, so on the show we have previously talked about this is my dad, Alan, and we have talked about him many times because Les is friends with my dad, and that's how I got kind of started on the show. So him living in Arizona now, I'm out here. It's 6 a.m. out here. We do
6:35.
6:35 out here in Arizona. We make sacrifices for this podcast. So it is a beautiful morning. We can't be excited for today enough. But yes, this is my dad, Alan, and we can't wait to take down Les.
Nice to
And
meet
we're
you
very
guys.
glad Mr. Northcutt has decided to join us. And
Yes,
so,
I met Les at FedEx. We worked together and we were across each other at some point, started talking about sports. I could tell that he knew what he was talking about, so he and I would engage in conversations all the time up there. It was a lot of fun.
It was, and I think that might be the nicest thing Alan's going to say to me on this
It's the
particular
last
show.
night thing I say too.
That's fair.
nice. I like that. So, without further ado, I flipped a coin in my mind, and it's landed on the guy who's probably going 3-on-1 this show. So, Les, you're going to get to go first with your smack talk rebuttal. So, let's get this thing started. We're going to set the clock to 3 minutes, and we're going to let Les get underway right now.
Okay, before I get started on my point, I want to say that when Matt said that I haven't even begun to feel pain yet, I just want to say that I'm used to that because I wake up and feel pain every time I look in the mirror. And that's number one.
Oh,
Number
wow.
two, I was really waiting for you to say no Diddy after you said smack off.
Yeah,
So I was
we were
waiting
looking
on that,
at
and I was very disappointed. But anyways, into my opening statements. The first thing I want to say is that I was very confident before this game kicked off, as it was. But then when I heard that comment from Arch Manning, when he said there ain't a target on our back, there's a red dot on everybody else. Look, I'm a Little Wayne fan in my core. I know a bar when I see one. I mean, that was an absolute bar completely, and it's going to set the tone for the rest of the season. So I'm happy. So I'm very excited about that. But I wanted to get that out of the way because this is the ultimate point I wanted to make for my opening statement. As much as I'm excited that it is officially Arch Manning time in Austin, I also want to say that at the same time, I'm kind of tired of Arch Manning in a way. What I mean by that is when I hear all these so called experts talk about the expectations they have for Texas this year, all they can talk about is Arch Manning. And I want to make one thing clear. If the listeners get anything away from me in this show, is that Texas is a lot more than just Arch Manning. They have an All-American in every level of that defense. Their front seven could be the best front seven in college football. They have an 1,000-yard rusher returning on offense at running back. We have another high-profile running back that missed last year with an injury who apparently looks pretty good in training camp. We have not the most experienced wide receiver room. So, of course, we don't have the Jeremiah Smiths or the Carnell Tates, but Ryan Wingo, again, a very talented 5-star prospect. But Texas is loaded at every position. And if any opposing coaches believe that they just have to contain Arch Manning to win, it's going to be a long season for the opposition.
Wow, you actually finished that with like a minute to go. So that's honestly impressive.
Did you forget I was a journalist for a living, dude? Like, I had to say as much as I could in as few words as possible.
Yes, but when we're talking about Texas, that kind of goes out the window. You have to admit.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saving my ammo for the rest of the show, so we good.
All right. Now it's time for the opening statement from Team Northcutt. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right.
Real quick. I think it's appropriate that you all be named Team Nutcut today.
Okay.
Hey.
Who was that Matt or was that Les who said that?
I think it was Matt.
But it does.
It was you.
The Buckeye being a nut, so we'll take it.
Team Nutcut.
That proves that we have nuts.
Hey yo.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll start off and then he'll go. You know what I'm speaking of Les saying he's tired of. You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, and seeing all these predictions. I'm ready for the game to be played on the field. I'm tired of seeing that. And college football takes long enough just to wait for. So I'm tired of seeing that. I'm ready for the on the field play. I'm ready for both teams to show what they can do. Both teams are obviously great teams, losing a bunch even though they reload. It's not rebuild, it's reload. We all know that. Reload, and it's going to be a battle. I think it could go many ways with two newer quarterbacks. It could be a slow game with just it's a hostile environment. Their timbers are going to be shivering, and so I mean, yeah, it's just it could go many ways. I have notes down of replied of like things that Les has said to me recently. And so just to give a rebuttal. But Les, I do have a question. Is Dylan Edwards leaving Kansas State?
You know what made me so mad about that is that I deleted that and I like tried to troll you back and be like, "Who are you talking to?" But Twitter wouldn't let me. So yeah, the old fake news Twitter page got me, which is very embarrassing because I take pride in not falling for that.
Yeah, I had to check his Instagram, but yeah, I just had to throw that in there because I thought it was hilarious. And then I pressed back on the post and it says like, "Oh, like this is not here anymore" or something like that. So
yeah, I had to delete it after that, but I tried to respond after that and make it look like you were just tweeting to yourself.
But
Twitter wouldn't let me. Damn it, Elon.
Yeah, so many new faces, and the shoe's gonna be rocking. We'll see how Arch handles it with the environment, and we'll see all the different matchups on the field. So I can't wait. It's here in a couple hours, which seems crazy. If you wanna say what you would ever want to say.
So it is a lot of new faces, a lot of new players. Both teams have recruited exceptionally well. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a low scoring game, but everybody's talking about Arch Manning, and rightfully so. He's, highly recruit, everything else. But the last time I saw him against Ohio State, he had cobwebs afterwards. He got hit, and we didn't see him again. And if they plan on running him a ton, I think Ohio State defense will hit him a ton. Now, I know he's a big boy, and he's fast and all that, but I don't know if that would be the great game plan to run him a bunch and let him keep getting hit and keep getting hit. You guys have Jesus Christ as a receiver apparently now and Wingo, because that's all I've heard about for the last 2 weeks on Twitter. And they're like, he's our Jeremiah Smith. Let's eased up on that a little bit.
Yeah, I will agree to that. He's very talented, but Jeremiah Smith's 101. That's the nicest thing I'll say about Ohio State.
I think the running backs are going to be interesting. I'm really excited about Peoples. I think he's going to be a really solid running back, and I like our backup running back, the transfer from West Virginia. He's a big boy, kind of change of pace type of deal. But the persons that aren't being talked about, or people are not being talked about enough, would be Max Clare, um, and the two other receivers, Brandon Ennis and
Carnell Tate.
Carnell Tate. We know that you guys are going to try to take away Jeremiah Smith. You did it last year. You put three over there that kept on him, and it actually worked really well. Outside of two explosive plays, it was a hell of a game plan. But I feel like personally having to worry about Max Clare, who is right now number one on the board for prospect at tight end, and for the NFL draft next year, and Carnell Tate, along with Ennis, who I think is going to have a nice year too. I'm interested to see what Texas strategy is going to be on covering the whole field because I don't think you can do the three press this year on Jeremiah Smith. At the end of the day, I think it's going to be a hell of a ball game. I don't think anybody's getting blown out. That's just my take. I'm kind of a little nervous about Julian saying how he's going to react, because I think Texas does have that defense. But the one thing I will say is I like my coach, just like you like your coach.
Mhm.
And I'm really curious to see what the game plan is. So that's my thoughts.
I'm glad you said that about putting too much coverage on Jeremiah Smith because that's one of the things that I talked about in my preview is that one thing that I didn't like Texas did as much as you don't want Jeremiah Smith to beat you, I feel like Texas overcompensated in that regard last year because they put so much coverage on Jeremiah Smith that Carnell Tate was pretty much wide open over the middle pretty much every play, and so was G. Scott. And as like you said with Max Clare is a more talented tight end, in my belief, than G. Scott. So
Yeah.
it's going to be very interesting to see if they go that same route. But I would like to see them balance it out a little more, even if that means maybe giving up a bigger play here or there to Jeremiah Smith. Take it, just limit it to maybe one here and there. Don't let him just absolutely take over the secondary, but find that balance of not putting too much coverage on Jeremiah Smith to where you're leaving everybody else. Because Ohio State, one thing they're always going to have is receivers. And it's crazy next year they're going to freaking have Chris Henry Jr. too. Because even though there's talks about how Texas and Oregon are apparently making a late push at him, no, from everything I'm heard, he's pretty much sold on Ohio State. But that's just going to be not fair. But anyways, yeah, that's finding the balance of not letting Jeremiah Smith dictate this game, whether that be him taking over the secondary or putting so much coverage on him that it opens up everybody else.
All right. Well, there is one thing that Ryan, Les, I'm feeling a little bit nervous for you right now because Ryan basically admitted he's got an enemies list in that last segment. He's written down everything you said, so I mean, he's coming for you. I think your Timbers need to be
Taking
Timbers.
notes.
That's pretty normal for me, but hey,
Ryan is planning to shiver all our Timbers.
my name on this show is literally Red Dot, so
I'm worried what he's got on me. All right. So, Les, you kind of started a rebuttal there, but we're going to let you go again, address some of the things that were brought up by them. So, Les, do you think, and I have to ask this because I just love the way Ryan said it, do you think Texas will have shivered timbers at all during this game?
not
Or
at all.
do you think they're focused? Go ahead and go, Les. Take
No,
it.
they're locked in. Everything I'm seeing on social media, like Colin Simmons is out, pretty much made comments and makes me believe that he's going to be out there head hunting. Just ever since Arch Manning took over as the QB1 for this team, it just seems like there's a different vibe. I had a lot of love for Quinn Ewers because Quinn Ewers is the quarterback that helped us transition from that period of is Texas ever going to be back to now Texas is back. I mean, they are, regardless of how good the rest of people think they are a consistent contender for a college football national championship every year. And I'm always going to have a lot of love for Quinn Ewers for that. But ever since Arch Manning took over the team, you could tell that there was just an energy shift with the roster. I mean, they just seem like they're locked in from everything I'm hearing. And I feel like they really want to go out and have a revenge tour for what happened in the college football playoff last year. I don't think that loss sat well with them. And I think they're going to go out and send a message here today.
All right. What about you? So where are we going now? I mean, Ryan, what do you have now? The rebuttal with that.
Well, he's talking about Colin Simmons, but like Les, Was Colin Simmons not ready? You know, he said he was ready to sack. He's for Julian saying being picked. He's just glad they picked a quarterback. He's ready to sack. But was he not ready to sack Will Howard last year in January? Because I was looking at the game and stuff like that, and I didn't see much like D lineman play. Besides, I think they got maybe 1.5 sacks. So I was just curious. Was he not confident back then, or like is just this new year, new Colin? Like I'm sure it's a new everyone, but that's just my question.
I think that's going to be freshman experience versus sophomore experience. Just that extra year
They
goes a
do
long
say
way.
that the biggest jump you have in your college career is from freshman to sophomore. So maybe calling gruesome balls this year. Maybe.
Oh, wow. I don't think that was ever
Ooh.
in debate, but here, when as much as we talk about, Colin Simmons as far as like Texas Twitter does, and obviously he is a very talented edge rushing prospect. I
Yeah.
mean, he almost had the first 10 sack season that Texas has had literally since Brian Arakpo. And if people watching the show don't remember that name, he was on those Colt McCoy national championship contending teams. So I mean, it's been a long time since Texas has had a 10 sack guy, and he almost did it last year, and he wasn't even the full time starter at the edge position. Um, but as much as we talk about Colin Simmons, and rightfully so, that's what's so scary about this Texas pass rush is because they are a lot more than just him. Trey Moore coming back was huge. Ethan Burke has gotten better every year. Even there's another young edge prospect that I think people are going to learn the name of a lot more this year, and that's Colton Vasek. But not to mention the big thing that's going to help out the edge rushers is that Texas absolutely loaded up in the middle through the portal. When you go out and get Murad Watson. Now, I'm going to take some notes from yeah, Ryan, I'm going to take some
He's
notes on
got five
what
of
you
them.
said. Literally, we were on this show, and when Murad Watson committed to Texas, you're just like, oh, this
Yeah.
is just annoying. We can't even get one defensive tackle prospect, and you're getting every single one of them. So you know
You
how
got like
Texas, you
five.
know firsthand how Texas has been recruiting in the portal from the deep tackle position. But I think what's even the scariest part about the Texas pass rush is that Pete Kwiatkowski, as a defensive coordinator, he's very tactical of when he decides to bring a blitz. He doesn't blitz often, but when he does, it's often effective because the timing is usually perfect. It's one thing to have to block Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, Ethan Burke, etc. Every down. But when you bring that blitz and you got Anthony Hill blitzing up the middle, and then you got either Jelani McDonald or Jalen Gilbo blitzing out of the nickel, I mean it's actually scary. So that's what's going to be so challenging for Ohio State. I feel like is how are they going to be able to um, handle that Texas blitz?
So I personally like Sark as a coach, and I love a comeback story. I'm not talking Kim Kardashian comeback story, but just him
Oh,
nice
I'm
comeback
here
story.
for it.
And I appreciate what he's done at Texas because college football is better when Texas is a prominent player. Um, so I'm totally good with them being good again. We got to find out, is he ready to take that next step?
Hmm.
Because that's what we finally found out last year about Ryan Day is that he was ready to be that guy even after the Michigan loss. So he went, I mean, he beat four straight really good teams. I mean, everybody thought they were going to lose to Tennessee, then they were going to get beat by Oregon, then they were going to get beat by Texas, and nobody really thought they were going to lose to Notre Dame, but Notre Dame ended up proving themselves worthy of playing for the national championship. So I want to see if he can take that next step. Um, I think he's got very nice pieces. I think he recruits at a very, very high level. But you can do all those things and still not win. We see plenty of coaches out there doing that right now. So I just want to see if he can make that next jump or not.
Well, one thing Sark has going for him is that he can actually beat his rival, unlike Ryan Day.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, well,
1,501 miles is a safe place for you to be in.
I just want to know what the chances are of someone planting a flag today.
We should maybe do that on the Twitter poll. Is like, what are the odds of someone planting a flag?
Will
yes.
there be another brawl?
Texas might.
We should do bets on like who is going to plant the flag.
I just don't think that Ohio State's going to plant a flag in their own field. If something tells me that they're just so if it is someone, it's likely Texas, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
High, high profile of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But better question, what player? Well,
My
actually,
money, my money's on
no
Anthony
one
Hill.
no one's probably going to be doing it because like they got to win, so who knows. But I do want to say some real quick. It's gonna be
Go ahead, Ryan.
um thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.
I'm acknowledging you.
Les is talking about all this big bad Texas defensive line, which obviously it is good. It is a position that you have to game plan around. Wow, I just said that wrong. Game plan around. But I do want to remind you who our offensive line is because we're really replacing both of our tackles. That's it. The guards and center is pretty much the same with Luke Montgomery being a left guard because he played a lot in that Texas game and in the national championship game. But left tackle, Austin Sierraville, two-time Iron Buckeye. He's named a captain this year. Moving to left tackle. I don't think that he's someone you can overlook. I hope he does well. And left guard, Luke Montgomery, Ohio born. You already know about those Ohio O linemen. Center, Carson Hinsman, who this is his third year at center. I trust him with everything. He's got a metal bar in the middle of his helmet. What's better than that? Okay. Right guard, Tegra Shabola, who I think
Sounds like
is
a concussion waiting to happen.
you know,
Speaking of concussions, your boy Manning said hello. Go ahead.
um,
My boy,
right
who?
guard,
Arch Manning last
when
year
he got
never
his
came back
head
in the game.
bounced
He was not even the starter.
No,
when
but
he
he was
ran.
I mean,
He was yeah, he was he was basically a package quarterback last year in that game.
you lost your package.
I mean, he could have probably came back. I didn't hear
Well,
anything about that he
not with the
couldn't.
package.
Season online, we live and die by our experienced quarterback.
Well, I'm at
And we
FedEx.
died. We definitely died.
But right guard, as I see a coyote right now. Right guard, Tegra Shabola, who I think is a guy that could definitely improve. He played all of last year. I trust this whole line. Right tackle was a little bit like of a crazy comeback because it's Philip Daniels who will get the start, and he came in as supposed to be from like to be like a backup from Minnesota, and he's played so well that he challenged Ethan Onyanma. I think that's how you say his last name to being the starting right tackle. Ethan Onyanma will be the kind of swing tackle they're saying today. So I think knowing how good this Texas defensive line is, I think that this O line is very deep and it could hold itself up. We will see today with all the star power that they have on the defensive line. But yeah, go ahead.
Unless you have anything you'd like to say in response to that.
I mean, there's no doubt that this Ohio State offensive line has, guys that I think can develop and be really good offensive linemen as the season goes on. But again, with a defensive line that is set up the way Texas's is, the one position on that offensive line you don't want to have any kind of inexperience in is that tackle position because that's who's going to be blocking the edge rushers, and that's the strong end of this Texas defense. So I think that inexperience plays a big role in why I think Texas's pass rush could have a very successful day today.
I could see that. Ryan, do you have anything you want to say in response to that? Anybody over there?
I don't know if Les is gonna say it, but I have been, I've been watching Twitter and I've been seeing what he's posting. He did say that Texas was gonna win by 2 scores. So can we let's divide a little bit to show I'm gonna show something that I put together, and this is the famous Les profile picture that he shows on Facebook. Ready? Here,
Oh,
see that way a little bit. Um,
Hey yo.
Les reminds me of that guy Paul Feinbaum.
I think in a couple years we're gonna have the same haircut too. So there's that.
We gotta take that profile
Yeah,
picture.
that just reminded me, and I just created that. It's a perfect picture, by the way.
It is. It is. Actually, you did a good job. I'm not even mad.
That is so perfect.
I friggin' love it. Sorry, Bean, that you got replaced by the great.
Bean got
Yeah, I feel like if
Feinbaum.
anybody should be mad here, it's Bean. But
It should be.
Bean's gonna have to join the ACC now. He's been kicked out.
Yeah, that reminded me, and Paul Feinbaum is another level of like Homer of the SEC. I think
Oh
we
yeah,
all
for
know.
sure.
But because he thinks is like Arch is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, but maybe he is, maybe he will be. We won't know though
I'll be
until.
honest. I think Arch. It's no secret. I think Arch Manning is going to be very good. But I'll also am of the opinion that we may not see that today.
Yeah,
I could see
it could
that.
be first game jitters. They could struggle. I think both quarterbacks have a chance to struggle.
I just think Texas is more well built to handle a quarterback not having to light up the scoreboard to win this game. That's where I stand on that.
All right. Well, we've got about 8.5 minutes to go, and I don't think you're going to get a much better in-depth look at the game than that. If we're calling this a smack off, congratulations, Ryan.
No Diddy.
If you didn't already win that with the some of the
Uh,
takes about the list of
Picture.
enemies, you won it with the fine bomb picture. But we do have a very special guest topic, so I'm going to hand it off to Mr. Northcutt again. We're going to let him talk about a topic that's near and dear to his heart this week,
Oh, look who
and
joined
then
the
the
show real quick.
BMW
Look who joined the
FLB.
show. He heard him talking about it.
Oh,
Oh no, he's mad.
He's
Now
mad
let's get
now.
back up.
it was only temporary.
He doesn't care. He is very attached. He is
Oh,
very egotistical.
that's why we love the Emperor.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Northcutt, your topic. What do you want to discuss about the SEC increasing their schedule output?
I personally love it. Yes, the conferences have gotten so big now. You're missing out on some of the conference games where you play, you know, the best of the best in each conference. But the thing I don't like is I'm hearing rumblings that teams like Georgia and others are gonna like get rid of their non-con schedule and just play basically like no offense, your Indiana Hoosiers who are basically buying everybody out and bringing in 13th grade football games to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that because just like this week, the college football season's officially starting, not at week 0, but this week. And we have really good games. You have Syracuse, Tennessee, which by the way, I think Syracuse is going to win.
Me too. We agree on that.
They do agree on that.
Real UT, yeah.
And then we have Florida State, Alabama, which I think Alabama's going to curb stomp them. We have Miami, Notre Dame. We have obviously Texas and Ohio State.
LSU, Clemson.
What's that?
LSU, Clemson.
LSU, Clemson. So we have these really good games to watch instead of just everybody playing Cupcake City. So I'm excited about that. I don't want to lose that. Teams like Kentucky. Now they're talking about that Louisville game might be in trouble. Why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to play that game? That's your rival. That's shit
Yeah.
talk for the next year.
Right.
And like Georgia, first of all, Georgia, if you're worried about canceling your game with Louisville, you're kind of soft because you should be head over, heels over that. That should be easy for you guys to win that game, honestly, in my opinion. I think Louisville is a great program. I'm a fan, but teams don't need to be canceling those things. I think the SEC is going to 9 games, the Big Ten doing it. Everybody's basically going to be there at some point. And we're not
Right.
even done with conference realignment yet. Like there's going to be some more movement yet. So I hope that teams continue to play good non-conference schedule. It's good for the sport. Ohio State showed you last year. You can lose once or twice and still get into the playoffs. And then once you get in there, you can go on a run. So I hope that they keep that kind of schedule. I think it's a little soft. There's another word I would use, but I'm trying to keep it
See,
family
it's a
friendly.
family.
Matt is the only one who says it's a family show.
It's a family show.
Okay, when I upload this to YouTube,
Fine.
I literally click the option not for kids. So I think you're
Okay.
good.
Yeah,
So
whatever.
all I'm going to say is that I think that if teams like Georgia and some of the other, and by the way, anybody in the Big Ten, like I called out Indiana, which by the way, I have a daughter that graduated from Indiana in the Kelley Business School. Ryan forgets to talk about all the time. So shout out to the Hoosiers. He does have a sister. She's really smart and she's really awesome. He somehow forgets about her all the time. But I just think if any big power conference teams are going to like sell out their schedule, which by the way sucks for their fans too, because there's nothing all year. We've been thinking about this game all year. From the time the national championship happened, we've been thinking about the big game that starts the year off. Okay, I'm sure LSU fans were feeling the same way. I don't know why Florida State would be thinking about it. They're on the downhill. So I think any team doing that are a bunch of pussies.
There it is. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, and I think he hit the nail on the head there, where it's like we've seen now. I mean, and if you ask me, and I don't know whether it's right or wrong, the playoffs going to get bigger. It's not going to stay 12 for long. It's going to get bigger. So there's going to come a point where it doesn't matter. You could even get in with like 2 losses. So if you're one of those SEC Big Ten schools, keep your rivalry for goodness sake. Maybe even schedule another good game. Because, I mean, they're not going to fault you, especially if it goes the way I think it is. And I've been saying this for years to less, where it's like you basically have the Big Ten's your NFC, the SEC's your AFC, and everything else is just gravy. Then it won't really matter as much in the long run, I don't think. Now, I will let Les do a I will let Les get a take in here, but we're kind of running low on time. So I want to make sure we get in. Like and subscribe to the Less is More Sports Talk podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the side quest on TikTok at BeansDad018. And without further ado, enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Les, what do you have to say about the 9-game schedules across the mega conferences?
No, I mean, I think Allen, I don't know why I just called you Alex right there. I
Oh,
apologize.
Allen. It's all A's.
Yeah, it's all A's. And maybe I was watching too much Blue Mountain State over the last couple weeks and thinking Alex Moran, which is one of the greatest TV characters of all time. But anyways, neither here nor there. No, I actually agree with Alan. I think you said it perfectly. I think the key is to find the balance of scheduling the right teams in your conference every year, but also having a decent non-con schedule as well. And I also agree with Alan. It's like, why is Georgia, like, why are the teams like Georgia talking about, maybe not playing the teams like Louisville? It's like, say, even if Louisville, even though with them being on the come up with Jeff Brom and everything like that, even if they were better than Georgia, I'm a full believer of if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So even if they are quote unquote better than you or whatever, why didn't you want to play them? I mean, that's what I love about what Texas is doing the last couple years. I mean, we're playing the defending national champion in the first two games of the season in back-to-back years. So, and then even before we joined the SEC, we played at Alabama. We played a home and home, with Alabama. So I mean, it's all about finding that balance. And, I think it only makes you, if you really have championship aspirations, I think it only is going to make you better. But when we got about 2 minutes ago, what I really want to get into right now is for us to make some, score predictions. What's the final score of this game going to be? I'll let the nut cuts go first.
Okay. I think it could be a game to like first team to like 23-24. I'm gonna go 24, 24-20, Ohio State, baby. Go ahead.
This kills me to do this. There's a lot of unknowns to come in this game at. I like it that it's Ohio State, but at the end of the day, it's your pros against Joes and your coaches. You got to make every right call. You got to make the right decisions. So I guess my score is going to be 23-16. The Ohio State.
So, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yes, Les.
I do have some agreements with you all. I think it could be a very close game through majority of the game. I think the first 3 quarters could be a bloodbath. But at the end of the day, I think in the fourth quarter, the Texas horses take over. And I think Texas wins 35-14.
Whoa.
Real quick, what's the bet
Ooh.
between you and Ryan?
Oh,
Last year.
do you want to do the what we did last year? Put the screensaver on?
Yeah. I don't
Let's
think
do
there
it.
will be any screen better than is that Jack Sawyer still running out there?
There he is. He's right there.
He just scored again.
Is that Travion Henderson right in front of him?
But I don't think that there could have been a better background than last year. Maybe we'll get that this year. So yeah.
Well, Jack Sawyer and Travion Henderson, aren't walking through that door, so
They might be as fans.
that ain't gonna help you.
Probably allowed in the stadium. And as for me, I'm really on the fence about this, and I like points, so I just cannot pick against Ohio State at the Horseshoe. I'm going 31-30